Hello everyone. Have you ever wondered why color blindness or hemophilia seems to occur more often in boys than in girls? Today, we are going to dive into the fascinating world of sex-linked inheritance. This is the study of how traits are passed down through genes located specifically on the sex chromosomes, the X and the Y. Remember, the X chromosome is like a treasure chest of genes, far richer than the Y chromosome. And because of this, many traits, especially genetic disorders, are carried on the X. Real-life examples? Color blindness, where a person struggles to distinguish red from green, and hemophilia, where blood fails to clot properly. So as we begin, keep this question in mind: why are these traits so much more common in males? Let's find out. Let's first understand the disorders linked to the X chromosome. One well-known example is color blindness. Imagine looking at a traffic signal. If you're colorblind, distinguishing the red from the green could be a real challenge. This happens because of a defective recessive gene on the X chromosome. Another example is hemophilia, often called the royal disease. Here, the blood cannot clot normally because an essential clotting factor is missing. Now notice this: males are especially vulnerable because they have only one X chromosome. If that single X carries a defective allele, there's no backup. Females, on the other hand, have two X chromosomes, and a normal allele on one X can mask the defective one. That's why hemophilic females are extremely rare. Isn't it incredible how just one chromosome difference can change the entire pattern of inheritance? Now, let's walk through our first genetic case study. Picture a normal father with XY chromosomes and a heterozygous mother. That means one normal X and one defective X. What happens when they have children? Using a Punnett square, we can predict one daughter will be completely normal, another daughter will carry the defective gene but not show symptoms, and both sons will be perfectly normal. Notice something important here: none of the children are colorblind, but daughters may silently carry the defective allele. This shows us the power of carriers in genetics. They don't show the disorder, yet they can pass it on to the next generation. Now, let's raise the stakes with case 2. Here, the mother is again a carrier, and the father is normal. When we cross them, something interesting happens. The daughters may be normal or carriers, but the sons now have a 50% chance of being colorblind. Why only sons? Because a son inherits his X chromosome from his mother. If that X carries the defective allele, the son has no second X to protect him. This is exactly why color blindness and hemophilia are far more common in boys than girls. One tiny gene on the X chromosome makes all the difference. Now comes the most fascinating case, case 3. A carrier woman marries a colorblind man. What do you think happens? The results are dramatic. Some daughters may be completely normal, some may be carriers, but here's the surprise: some daughters may actually be colorblind. And among the sons? Well, some are normal, while others inherit the father's Y and the mother's defective X, making them colorblind too. This case shows how, in rare conditions, even females can express the disorder when they inherit two defective X chromosomes. Isn't it remarkable how a simple chart can explain complex inheritance patterns in families? Let's now explore something called crisscross inheritance. It's like a zigzag journey of traits through generations. Here's how it works: a father with an X-linked trait, like color blindness, passes his defective X chromosome to all his daughters. These daughters don't usually show the disorder, but they become carriers. In the next generation, these carrier daughters can pass the defective allele to their sons. And those sons will then express the trait. Think of it as traits skipping across genders, from father to daughter, then daughter to son. This fascinating pattern is called crisscross inheritance. A real-world example? The spread of hemophilia in royal families of Europe. So, what's the bigger picture here? Sex-linked inheritance is more than just about disorders. It's proof of how the location of a gene, on an autosome or a sex chromosome, changes the way it's passed down. These patterns also remind us why males and females differ in their chances of inheriting certain traits. They bring Mendel's classical laws into the modern era of chromosomal genetics. And from a real-world perspective, understanding these inheritance patterns is crucial. It allows genetic counselors and doctors to predict risks, prevent disorders, and provide vital medical advice to families. Genetics truly saves lives. Let's quickly recap this amazing journey. We learned that sex-linked inheritance involves genes on the X and Y chromosomes. Disorders like color blindness and hemophilia are carried on the X chromosome. Carrier females may silently pass traits, while males often express them due to their single X. Using Punnett squares, we explored how different parental combinations determine the fate of children. And crisscross inheritance showed us how traits can zigzag across generations. Isn't it fascinating how much information is hidden in just 2 tiny chromosomes? Remember, genetics is not just about traits in textbooks, it's about understanding the very blueprint of life itself. I hope today's session helped you appreciate the marvel of genetic inheritance. Until next time, keep exploring the wonders of biology, the science of life.